prosecutor about salaries and wages. Any motions?
You know, I shut down my computer. If you have notes.
That's just a spreadsheet we were looking at, if you want to use that to.
Well,
Well, it was what we had agreed to
with the names that
on
we
the
have
budget
here.
to stay within the 41,000. Some adjustments have been made.
So approve the top portion.
No grades have changed. Steps have changed.
No.
Decided not to?
No grades.
Okay. So approve the.
Do you know what to do here?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and accept what has been presented by the prosecutor with no steps, but
No grades.
no grades, but steps, and allot this money to be distributed per his request, staying under the 41,600 that we agreed upon, and allow him to take care of his office. We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay?
I want to thank the commission for your input and support, because it's substantial and it means a lot. It does, so kudos to you, and I think it'll, in the long run, make a difference for our office.
Well, it's like I tell people, we appreciate you trying to take care of your people. We really do. And when it comes before us, we're looking at everybody in the county, and that's why we ask the questions, the hard questions sometimes, and that's why some people get offended. We're not meeting to offend anybody, but our role, we take it very serious, just like you do. And when it comes down to this, we ask them questions, and sometimes you get a yes, sometimes you get a no.
And I'm good with the no. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are doing your job, so, again, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. It looks like, Christie, are you here to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excused?
You're good to go.
Thanks, guys.
And Steve, we take care of the October 1 salary approval forms just like normal, even with those adjustments. So you guys don't do those.
Is this what she's doing?
No, this is
This is
more on the suicide battery. This one. This is,
She's got that as well, don't you? Oh, she's got, yeah.
they come in and applied for the tax exemption. And then we
Oh,
found
we
out
finally
that they
found,
was.
okay.
So,
Accepting you.
all right, you're up.
So I'm here for Pocatello Labor Temple. I don't recall that you had asked them to come back. You had just requested that they send you how much square footage they rent out of the whole. So that is on that email that you have.
Okay.
And then if you make a decision today, I'll just let them know what that decision is based on the information that they've provided.
So what they have provided for us is that the building is about 12,000 square feet. The rent portion is about 44 square feet. So the tax, what they are eligible for to be tax exempt is the difference between the two. So that percentage is what they would be tax
Like about
exempt on,
75.
and they would be taxed on the 3544.
3544, and what'd you say, 12,000 square feet?
Yep.
That is 29% is being used, 29.5% is being used for rental purposes.
Okay. So they'll receive a
70.5.
70.5%.
69. No, 70.5.
Yeah.
Okay, a motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I move that we grant the Pocatello Labor Temple a 70.5% reduction or exemption, right? Yeah, on their property taxes.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Should we flip a coin? You're
I can go last if you
Right.
want.
Do we want to sign this proclamation? And because Christie's already got it on the agenda Tuesday to be ratified, it's the suicide prevention. You guys are the last three to sign it, it looks like.
Can we make, I think,
Well, since the meeting's already started, I mean, you could amend the agenda to discuss it, but no decision can be made on that item. So it might have to wait until
Well,
Tuesday.
We've already made a decision on that
Oh, you have?
It was made
last week when we
Oh.
decided to participate in this event and
So you're-
support it. So all this is the proclamation from all of the entities that are supporting that suicide prevention thing that we're gonna have
Okay.
next week as the kickoff.
So you made the decision last week to
Yeah.
support the proclamation?
Last Thursday.
We didn't say
No.
proclamation,
We
we said the,
said that we would support the city of
Cause.
Pocatello in this, moving forward with this. So I would say that this wouldn't fit in that category. I mean,
the pirate in me says, it does.
and
Well, if there's a decision to be made saying, we've looked at the proclamation, we agree with it, and then we have to decide to sign it or not, and that hasn't been decided, then
When is this proclamation supposed to be read?
So they wanted to have it read and ratified on Tuesday, but he wants to get the proclamation out to all the entities as soon as possible.
Tuesday evening?
Well, he will read it out loud on Tuesday evening, but it's on the agenda at this point on Tuesday during the business meeting for you guys to read and ratify those signatures.
Okay.
I think they wanted it done today because tomorrow's the official start of the
Right.
suicide prevention
Yes.
month.
well,
So what
and
happens if you
this
don't
is
sign it?
exactly what happens when things aren't planned out far enough in advance.
Well, this is one of those things that was a last minute thing based on our testimony last week from Mayor Blad. And this is not a financial decision. It is just a decision to join with the rest of the community in supporting an issue. What's our legal exposure for signing this?
well, it's the only, well,
Go down to our
Would
office
be-
and sign it, then we ratify it.
yeah,
We don't do it in an open meeting.
would be an open meeting,
Violation.
yeah, complaint if they wanted
Okay.
to, but,
All right.
That you would then,
I mean, but then,
Address it
then the
Tuesday.
decision becomes void, you just have to go back, agendize it again and notice it, and then you can be able to go that route.
Okay.
So,
I'm okay with passing it back then.
And that's only because the meeting has already started. If it was right before the meeting, then you can do a motion to amend and make a decision. You can you can make a motion right now to amend to review it and discuss it. You just can't make a decision.
Well, that defeats the purpose, so.
Well, I'm just giving options.
I'm just making sure you're paying attention today. Right?
all right,
Excuse the interruption.
Christie, let's go ahead.
I believe I sent you this. Did I remember to send this to you or not?
It's on,
Sorry, I was a
This
little
one?
behind, yes. I was a little behind getting things because this week's not flowed very well. We talked about departments that we've been moving to open the budget for. The first one we have is probation fees for that position where we have an unanticipated retiree. The good news is by putting this off, originally we were gonna move monies to cover that. Because we put this off, now we only need to move $7,200 instead of $12,000, or not move, open the budget for. So what I'm proposing we do is use probation fees that we've received in excess of budgeted revenue to cover that. The next item is the fair exhibit, which we briefly touched on this morning. The fair has overspent their budget by $33,000.
how much?
$33,000.
Okay.
They did bring in revenue of $38,000 that I can open the budget for. I opted to do the
I'm
30
sorry, they brought an additional revenue of 38,000?
We really didn't budget for much money to come in because they just started bringing in revenue. so I don't have a good history to be able to base.
Just so I
projections
understand
on.
what you're saying, they brought in an extra 38,000.
Yes.
And they overspent by 33,000.
So far.
Okay,
I anticipate receiving additional invoices.
okay.
They have the abilities to spend an extra $5,000 if we open the budget for the full $38,000.
Okay.
I think there
They
needs to be a
don't
conversation.
have that authority until we give it to them. They overspent.
I
Yeah,
think
understand.
there's some room for discussion with the Fair Board and staff about, you have a budget amount, you need to stay within that budget amount, because
2
there's
years
a
in a row.
statute that says you could be personally liable for overexpending the budget. Anyways, the next item is the Office of Conflict. We talked earlier in
We
the
have a
year.
$6,000 bill that we just talked about.
We talked about earlier in the year using, moving money to cover the Office of Conflict. I told you we had money that we hadn't anticipated receiving revenue-wise, so we're going to open the budget for $140,000. Right now, we are just over $90,000 over budget. Claims are about $50,000 a month, so I'm hoping this $190 will cover that, or $140 will cover this amount. If it does not, we can do a last minute move money from A to B so that we're not over budget. The last item I have is health insurance. This one's a little bit trickier. We're currently over budget by $970,000. I only have $802 in unanticipated revenues. We do have sufficient reserves to cover, but I don't have the ability to add budget authority to cover that full amount. What we can do for additional claims is I can report back, tell you what reserves look like. We can continue to use reserves. That's not ideal, but we have sufficient reserves to cover it. So it's not like we don't have the cash to cover it. We just don't have the budget authority. The other option would be to pay those expenditures out of, say, contingency. Honestly, our health insurance claims are so large that that $200,000 would go really quick. So the recommendation is probably just to allow me to report back to the board the end of September with how much we're going to dip in reserves.
But right now, we have 802 that we can utilize
Yes.
by opening this up. And then we'll be,
And we had already talked about this, which is the only reason we're continuing to pay claims over the budget amount.
yeah.
So
well,
if you
tough one.
approve this opening of the budget, then what I'll do is the next step is to get this to Amy to hold a public hearing. You'll have to have a formal public hearing. I can't move the money until that public hearing and the resolution is signed at that time.
A motion to move forward.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we authorize opening the budget as discussed.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Looks like that brings us to Ryan.
All right. I have a little handout and one for Chantel too, for the record. It's just a little, I wanted to do something a little nicer, but I have had a week. My week kind of blew up.
This is what you told me Monday.
What's that?
That isn't what you told me Monday.
It happened after I told you that. I jinxed myself. So I'll be brief, knowing that, you know, we've been here a long time. But the HR department has that vision and priorities that we selected at the beginning of the fiscal year. We'll probably update those priorities for FY 2024. And if you have any recommendations for areas where I should focus and prioritize, you know, that's different than this for the next fiscal year, I'd love your feedback. So give you time to think about that. I broke some of the things that my department's working on into 3 areas: complete, in progress, and ongoing. And I'm not going to go over each one of these, but I did want to highlight, you know, on the complete, I only mentioned one of the trainings that we did, but we did a whole bunch more trainings than that. And we've been trying to do trainings for supervisors every single month. including some that have been from third parties. But the most recent one was a engagement and retention training, which I thought was an important addition to the trainings we provide. And I appreciate Jeff attending that one and giving me some good feedback on it. I also, on the complete list, wanted to bring attention to the fire drill at the courthouse. And I do have a kind of an after action report, 90% done, that I would like to send to you soon.
Okay.
On that, I just was reviewing it with the safety committee before sending it to you. So, but I felt like that fire drill was a good learning opportunity where we worked out a lot of kinks that's in our process and established some good relationships with the fire department. And so that was something I hope to do again for other buildings in the county. Probably starting with the annex was my next thought. And then just keep rolling those fire drills out. On the in progress, I wanted to call your attention to a few things. The first bullet there is we did implement the new personnel policy. I've been working with Braden and others to get everybody to acknowledge it. And we're at the cusp. We probably have 90% of the people are done with that or more. We're really close to having that acknowledgement done. And as you know, we're working to replace the Tyler Munis recruitment module with Applicant Pro. And Applicant Pro has been good. They're basically as fast as pace as we can go, they're keeping up, and I'm at a point where I'm working on an internal standard operating procedure for recruitment that's based on this program's capacity. So our entire recruitment procedure will need to change based on this. And one of the interesting components of this, that I don't think I've told you about before, is it's a two-step application process, the way it's designed. So the first step, the applicant will provide us with their name and contact information and answer some basic questions that we set up, like some of the required minimum qualifications. And then it kind of completes step one. And then we collect that information. And it can do a stage one screening for us as well. And so the applicants will automatically, without minimum qualifications, will automatically get screened out. And then the second step goes to our general application or the sheriff's application, and where this is the more complicated and involved piece. And why I like that is because currently under this program we have, there's a lot of people that'll start applying and then drop off. And we know they did it, but we don't have their contact information or any way to kind of nudge them and keep them going through the process, especially with the sheriff's one that's so complicated. So this will give us a better opportunity to catch those people that maybe started but didn't finish applications and encourage them to finish. So I like how that's shaping up. Anyway, just thought I'd update you on that. My hope, and I talked to the sheriff yesterday about this, is to work with the team from his office to really kind of pilot and get this going, because it's pretty much ready. And we will give them what we call non-posting manager access, and just start with some of the sheriff's department and working through procedures, getting the first postings out, and then if it works well for them, just roll it out to everybody. I was hoping maybe by the next HR roundtable meeting. So that's where we're at with that. Open enrollment begins tomorrow. I really appreciate the work that I've done with Christy and Alicia and the auditing team as changes were thrown at us last minute. And I told you before that I was trying to send an email out about the short-term disability back in Tuesday, but like I said, my week blew up. And then we're still getting instructions and stuff, so we're still getting details and information, as we go. And I'm expecting today, to have something ready. I wanted to send an email, but as I was typing up all the information the employees need, it's too much for an email. So I'm gonna have to do some attachments to an email in documents, just because it's just too much. So anyway, I'll run that by you two just to look over, or Alicia, before we send it out to everybody.
Maybe if you'll include me, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you can include Alicia, but Alicia doesn't know all aspects, so it's helpful for me to look at it too. She
So, yeah.
doesn't know certain things.
So that's near the top of my list, other than we did have 3 allegations that it came with investigations this week. That's kind of been sucking up some time too. So that's really high on my list today. We were working on that till 8 o'clock at night, last night. The next one I wanted to point out was, with this new budget, you've given us some money for a learning management system with training videos. And so I've been talking to other elected officials and some department heads about we're going to have this resource with 10,000 training videos, available. How do we want to use this? And we've been talking about making some of those videos required for all employees, like respectful workplace type, the sexual harassment, respectful workplace type, but then having some that department heads could choose to require for their departments based on the nature of their positions and hazards, especially like for safety trainings. And then we could also use it as part of professional development and succession planning. We could require trainings for that. And then last, just open it up for professional development in general for employees based on their interests. So right now, I've got 2 vendors that I'm looking at real closely. I think one's much better than the other, and I'll do a proposal here soon for that. So that's coming, and I've been working. It kind of keeps stalling out a training schedule for FY 2024. I wanted to propose. This training is mostly for supervisors and just topics. I wanted to get that out to you yesterday. But it's nearly done. And the other bullet was the benefit package review. It's been on my mind, all these increases to our health plan, and we get it's complicated. We've talked about it during budget sessions, but maybe some things we could consider. I went to a meeting yesterday with a group for the Healthy Cities, and there's some other, like the school district has huge, fantastic retention right now, and she was attributing some of that to a wellness program that they have. And so I was wanting to learn more about maybe some wellness programs that could help with both retention and maybe help lower some of our healthcare costs if we.
3 months off during the summer helps a whole lot with the school district. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, but there may be some things we could do as far as healthy habits, or in trying to interject that into our culture somehow to maybe help offset some of the benefits. So we don't have to water them down. Yeah. So we don't have to water them down or whatever and just taking a look at the options again this next year.
You need no more chicken and JoJo's.
No, maybe just less often. So anyway, those are some of the highlights that I wanted to bring forward. Do you have any questions about projects my department's working on, or something else you'd want to see from us?
It's a good list.
We're good. Anything else? Well, with that being said, it looks like we are adjourned. Chantel, thanks for stepping in.